Peace and blessings, my people. There's a lot going on right now, election season and all that. I really tried hard not to make this video. Like, I've been trying so hard not to make this fucking video, but with everything going on, I see a lot of voter intimidation. I see a lot of ignorance. I see a lot of misinformation. I just feel like at this point it's my duty to just say something. So with that being said, there's a lot of talk going on about the candidates. You got Joe Biden, and we got Donald Trump. Me personally, I don't care who you voted for. You know what I'm saying? Everybody vote in your own interest, but for everybody out there that didn't vote, I don't care either. Like, do what you feel is best for you. Don't let nobody intimidate you into doing some shit that you're not sure about. If you don't know about politics, stay out of it. You know what I'm saying? For all y'all motherfuckers that think y'all know politics and y'all really don't, y'all should stay out of it too. But anyways, with that being said, I just wanted to run down a couple things as far as the two candidates is concerned and who I feel is best to run this country. With that being said, I just want to go down in a couple attributes and allegations that have been said about both of the candidates. Key attributes that, some may not be true. And for whatever reason, the mainstream media, they paint this narrative as to where they make certain shit seem like it is true. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run down the facts straight from the horse's mouth. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to put no sauce on it. I'm going to play video clips from these niggas themselves so you can hear who's really the racist, who's really the rapist, and who actually has accomplished shit and done things in this country. So with that being said, let's start off with Donald Trump. Who's really the racist? From the beginning of the presidential race in 2015, 2016, whenever it started, the media was throwing out, clips and things of that nature, small, tiny, condensed clips of full conversations, to make this man seem like he's a racist. But I have full clips, of this man denouncing the KKK over 7 times, like from different periods in history. So, why people keep bringing up this why you won't denounce white supremacy thing, I have no idea. But they keep running with that narrative. But listen to the man say it for himself. Don't take it from me.
Thank you. He doesn't deny them at a minimum.
I totally disavow the Ku Klux Klan. I totally disavow David Duke.
When you say the party is self-destructing, what do you see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party right now?
Well, you've got David Duke just joined, a bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party.
So are you prepared right now to make a clear and unequivocal statement renouncing the support of all white supremacists?
Of course I am. Of course I am.
How many times do I have to reject? I've rejected David Duke. I've rejected the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan.
About the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans.
In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy.
I heard that, right? Okay, so moving along, Donald Trump basically helped or was very inclusive in the Rainbow Coalition. Rainbow Coalition was started by Fred Hampton, a Black Panther. Why any racist would help and or be included in in the progress of a Rainbow Coalition started by a Black Panther, I have no idea, but you can watch that clip too.
I now want to bring forth a friend who has, well, he is deceptive in that his social style is of such. One can miss his seriousness, and his commitment for his success is beyond argument. When we opened this Wall Street project and we talked about it, he gave us space at 40 Wall Street, which was to make a statement about our having a presence there. And beyond that, in terms of reaching out and being inclusive, he's done that too. And created for many people a comfort zone when I ran for the presidency in 84 and 88. And many others thought it was either laughable or something to avoid. He came to our business meeting here in New York because he has this sense of the curious and a will to risk to make things better. And so aside from all of his style and his pizzazz, he's a serious person who's an effective builder of building for the builder of people. Last year he was a part of our workshop, of our panel workshop on what are the challenges and opportunities. And so a year later, Donald Trump, for a few minutes, challenges and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities. Donald Trump.
I will tell you, a large percentage of the people, and especially in construction, that are building these great jobs are black and minorities, and I'm very proud of it. We have close to 25%, and I think the number's going up, and they do a great job. There are no better builders than we have in New York, and a big percentage of that is black and minority folks. So I just want to thank everybody in the room for being here. I look forward to some questions, and then I don't know how we're ever going to leave this building today, because if you look outside, it is terrible, but we'll figure a way. There's always a way, and thank you, Jesse, and congratulations.
Y'all seen that, right? Okay, moving along. So, Joe Biden. Y'all beloved Joe Biden. Creepy Joe. So, when it comes to Biden, you know, a lot of people, they like to, for some reason, omit his racist past. They act like he didn't write the 94 crime bill. And if y'all don't know what the 94 crime bill is, it's basically a bill saying where, you know, they implemented the whole 3 strikes thing, 3 strikes you're out thing. They implemented you get caught with a little bit of crack, you know what I'm saying, and you get 20 years, 10 years, 15 years, football numbers for some little shit. You know what I'm saying? you get caught with a little bit of weed, a little bit of dope, you out of here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all got uncles and fathers and brothers and so on and so forth that spent plenty of years in jail because of that crime bill. You know, but don't take it from me once again. Watch the clip.
If I'm a felon just coming home from a 20-year sentence because of Joe Biden and that bullshit bill that him and Hillary put forth.
Another thing about how perspectives change over time. Bobby Rush, member of Congress, said the other day, "I'm ashamed that I voted for the 94 crime bill." You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. And in fact, I drafted the bill, as you remember.
I know that.
Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now, not out of a liberal instinct for love, brother, and humanity, although I think that's a good instinct, but for simple, pragmatic reasons. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Mass incarceration has put hundreds of thousands behind bars for minor offenses. Joe Biden wrote those laws.
Every major crime bill that's come out of this Congress has had the name Joe Biden on that bill. We do everything but hang people for jaywalking in this bill.
Joe Biden's policies destroyed millions of black lives. Joe Biden may not remember, but we do.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. Take a look at my record, man.
When I marched in the civil rights movement, I marched with tens of thousands of others.
He had not actually marched during the civil rights movement and kept telling the story anyway.
I came out of the civil rights movement. I was one of those guys that sat in and marched and all that stuff.
Now, his aides went back to say, look, he was in office marching for the idea.
That's how the word marching means.
Twitter. I was not out marching.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
And you ain't black. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. You ain't black. You ain't black. You ain't black. You ain't black.
The most racist thing a person could tell me is that I'm supposed to choose something based on my race.
You ain't black.
Now, once again with Joe Biden, right? People say, you know, Trump is a racist. You know, nigga has never said anything racist, but whatever. Joe Biden, his two main mentors are KKK Grand Wizards, my nigga. KKK Grand Wizards, bro. Strom Thurmond and Robert Byrd. Y'all know who Strom Thurmond is? Watch the clip.
All the Democrats that voted against the Civil Rights Bill in the House and in the Senate, how many of them switched from the Democrat to the Republican Party? Answer one. Strom Thurmond.
Strom Thurmond was among the most racist politicians of his generation. And in the 60s, he switched to being a Republican because he felt more welcome. So now that we know all of this, we can see why it's nonsense.
So their entire case rests on one guy, Senator Strom Thurmond.
And now he started his career in the 1930s as a Democrat, and he was a huge racist. In fact, he was so racist, it was almost funny.
There's not enough troops in the army to force the Southern people to break down segregation and admit the Negro race into our theaters, into our swimming pools, into our homes, and into our churches.
I came to the United States Senate, a 29-year-old fella, and turns out one of my closest friends ends up being Strom Thurmond. Strom told me, he said, Joe, if there has to be a Democrat as president, it might as well be you. And after I dropped out of the race, he came to me and said, don't worry about it. He said, you got a good 30 years left to try.
So you mean to tell me the nigga that denounced white supremacy and the KKK dozens of times is a racist, but a nigga that has KKK Grand Wizards as his mentor is not? I ain't gonna judge y'all. Moving along. And this subject right here is really sensitive for me. I don't have any kids, but I got plenty of nieces and nephews. You know what I'm saying? I got plenty other family members and kids that I care about and hold dearly. And the kids should never be violated. So this is very, very serious for me. And I feel like it should be very serious for everybody. Everybody should take this shit to heart. Who's really the rapist? Who's really the pedophile? So when it comes to Donald Trump, people try to constantly link him to Jeffrey Epstein. Rightfully so, kinda. You know, he has a few pictures with Jeffrey Epstein, you know. And I seen one video with him chilling in the club or whatever. But, you know, at the end of the day, you could take a picture with a nigga anywhere. These dudes is running in the same circles. They millionaires, billionaires. So, you know, it's only a few of those you're going to be in a circle with. Most of them niggas is pedophiles, right? But when it comes to Donald Trump, you know, He was cleared. He was cleared of all charges. The course that they threw, the case that they threw at him didn't even make it to court because it was all bullshit. And you could hear that straight from the mouth of the lawyer of the Jeffrey Epstein victims. Can't get a source more credible than that, right? Check him out.
That document, and this goes to the more salacious rumors, but I would like you to just, whatever you can say on it. Obviously, our current president has had relationships with Epstein in the past, and there are those, Katie Johnson and maybe other victims who accuse Trump of being involved in things like this. In my experience, Trump supporters will not listen to anything along those lines. Obviously, we're not a court of law here right now, but are those claims of that case was dropped? It was dropped before it went to court. In your opinion, as a lawyer and your experience, is there anything you can say as to the validity of those claims, or whether or not there will be any more about that?
Nothing at all. The only thing that I can say about President Trump is that he is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know, and was very helpful in the information that he gave, and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition of him.
And that was in 2009?
That was in 2009. So,
do you know if there's any truth to James Patterson's claims that Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago?
I've definitely heard that. I definitely heard that. I don't know that it was Trump himself as opposed to a manager there.
Trump's club, so
yeah,
people credit him.
I've heard the rumor that Epstein was kicked out of there for allegedly trying to pick up somebody's daughter or something like that. But I think I did chase that down as far as I could, and never was able to confirm it. But I heard it.
I'm on the same boat with that. And just as far as Mar-a-Lago, that's where Virginia Roberts was kind of brought into the whole scheme, right? Via
that's
Maxwell.
where she was recruited.
Yeah, absolutely. So
that's where she was recruited and brought to Jeffrey Epstein's house. So, the story of someone else being recruited there is not so far-fetched.
Absolutely.
It's believable.
Now, not only that, right, but Virginia Giuffre, or however you pronounce her name, she's one of the main Jeffrey Epstein victims, is on paperwork saying that Trump never flirted with her, he never made any sexual advances or anything like that towards her. So, dude is such a rapist and a pedophile. Where's the victims at? Where are the victims? Point me to victims. The only people that's even connected to this whole Jeffrey Epstein shit legitimately said that Trump has nothing to do with it. He wasn't on the island. I know it's like, he was on the island. He was on the flight logs. No, he took one flight from Newark to Palm Beach. And Jeffrey Epstein wasn't even on the plane that day. He's not on any flight logs going to that island. But a few of your favorite people are. But that's another subject. Moving on to Joe Biden, right? Matter of fact, let's not even go on to Joe Biden. Let's stay on Trump for a second, right? Not only is all that Jeffrey Epstein shit bullshit, right? But Trump has signed multiple executive orders, bills, and he's made the most efforts in combating human trafficking in history. In history. A lot of y'all motherfuckers never even heard of human trafficking before this nigga was in office. A lot of y'all would never even heard of Jeffrey Epstein if he never made it to office. Jeffrey Epstein operated with impunity for decades. Under the Obama administration, under the Clinton administration, under the Bush administration, under all these administrations, and then 2017 hits and this nigga gets convicted. That shit don't add up to y'all? No, of course it don't. But whatever. Like I said, he signed the most bills to combat human trafficking, and all these pedophiles and mad pedophile rings is getting locked up. Search NXIVM. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, like, and a whole bunch of other ground shit that y'all have no idea about, because the mainstream media will never broadcast that shit because they're complicit in it as well. Moving along. Now, when it comes to Joe Biden and his history of allegations and rapes and all that, before we even get into all that, just watch this clip right here. It's just self-explanatory.
All right, well, nice to see you guys. Can I have one with Jess alone? Very good.
Dad's gonna stand pretty close.
This is a long day. That's right in, Brian. Don't tell me what you have to. Keep me. Lucky man.
He's having fun. Thank you, sir.
No serious casualties.
I might everybody else is important.
Grandpa's one of the big guys.
That's nice of you.
No, I'm not saying. He knows I do. You remember what I told you last time I saw you? Do you remember what I told you? No, not smile. No date till you're 30. Okay, there we go. Well, let's get the senator in here.
Y'all seen that shit, right? Alright, so if you think that shit is normal, you could just click off this fucking video because you're a fucking pedophile. You know what I'm saying? Peace and blessings to everybody. But if you think that shit is cool, just click off, unfollow, unfriend, do whatever you gotta do because you're a fucking pedophile. If you think that shit is normal, my nigga. Straight the fuck up. If you condone that shit, you're a pedophile. But whatever. Not only that, but he has many credible rape allegations and inappropriate touching allegations and all types of shit that just disappeared from the mainstream media when he started getting deep in the presidential race. So, whatever. Not only that, but, and you can look into this for yourself. I'm not going to post none of the pictures, but they're all out there. His own son, Hunter Biden, his laptop was confiscated by the FBI. They have his laptop right now, going through it. They've been had it, actually, but they've been putting the fucking cap on that shit because they don't want it to, you know, a scandal to rig the election. So they swept it under the fucking rug. But in that laptop, Hunter Biden is in there smoking crack, the same shit that he locked a bunch of y'all brothers, nephews, and uncles and fathers, the same shit that he was locking niggas up for 10, 20 years. His son is a fucking crackhead, bro. So, like, like, tell me how that shit makes sense. Your son is out here doing the same shit you was locking niggas up for decades for. That makes sense. But besides that, that's not even the most important shit. He's on there, you know, and Hunter Biden has children in compromising positions, child porn type shit, my nigga. Like, but, you know, where y'all think he get that? Where you think he gets that behavior from? Compile all the clips I just showed you. Where you think he gets that? Where do you think he gets that behavior from? He ain't just start doing that shit. That nigga was probably abused too. But he's out here doing the abusing. So how is Joe Biden innocent in all this? Moving along. Now, when it comes to who I feel is best fit to run the country. I mean, for me, I don't know what kind of rock y'all niggas been under for the last 3-4 years, but Trump has been showing and proving, my nigga. First Step Act. Like, a lot of people, you know, y'all complain about criminal justice. With this nigga put the First Step Act, freed over 4,000 inmates from federal time. Over 4,000 inmates. That's not no small feat, my G. A lot of people came home because of Donald Trump. Meanwhile, Joe Biden was putting them away. So basically, Donald Trump is reversing the shit that Joe Biden implemented. But he's the racist. Lowest unemployment ever across the board for minorities, blacks, whatever. Across the board, lowest unemployment before this COVID bullshit. Highest employment ever before the COVID bullshit. Record GDP growth. I think it was 33% or something like that after the pandemic. Less taxes and regulations for business owners. And I know a lot of y'all try to come at him about his taxes and all that, but when you run your own business, there's tax breaks and shit like that a lot of y'all niggas that'll be employees your whole life will never understand. But, you know, I'll put a clip up so y'all can understand that too.
But you lost money.
So let me ask you this question.
On paper.
Because you're going into detail right here.
Right.
Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
If you were running for president in 2020 and we asked you to show your taxes, would you show your taxes?
I would show my taxes.
And what would it show how many taxes you paid?
It would show what it shows.
So zero.
But not necessarily effectively you might end up with zero because
but that's a true thing.
Right.
Real estate, the reason why people are upset of Donald Trump and he doesn't want to show his thing is because he actually ain't paid taxes in a long time because he uses the rule book. He knows the rules.
Absolutely.
And he hasn't, because he owns so much real estate, he hasn't had to pay taxes because he's filled up his depreciation bucket.
Correct.
And you do the same thing.
Correct. When you have that bucket sitting there filled up like that, and look, because that depreciation, all of those losses offset income. So that means that, let's just say, we're talking about that depreciation bucket again. Let's just say you have a depreciation bucket that's, just make it simple, $100,000 of depreciation. Every year, you know, you have $100,000 of depreciation come January 1. That means you can go out pretty much literally and sell up to $100,000 of wholesales and assignments and have zero cash consequence.
And pay zero tax consequence.
Right. And so, again, it goes back to, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. Ultimately, it's what you keep. And that goes back again to the nose. Because most of the time, for most of us, you know, particularly people that get into this business and don't educate themselves, you go out and flip a lot of houses and you're rocking and rolling with your assignments and your wholesales and all that. And then, matter of fact, next week is April 15th.
Don't remind me.
April 15th. Uncle Sam's going to want his part of the partnership. And then, like I said, you know, vacation over. It's up on the screen now. You know, because now you're going to find out that you have a tax consequence to all those sales that you had, and Uncle Sam wants his money right now.
Moving along, right? Historical peace treaties with the Middle East. Never been done before. He's bringing the troops home when niggas was running the numbers up, you know, with the wars and all that. He's bringing niggas home from that. But, you know, he's the worst president. Hasn't started a new war yet. The first president, my nigga, hasn't engaged in no war. Moving along, lower prescription drug prices. You know, I know a lot of y'all grandmas and elderly is benefiting off that. He's donated every single presidential check he's received. You know, like, let me make this clear to y'all. The nigga was a billionaire before he started or, you know, running for president. Or his net worth has went down being the fucking president. He didn't have to do this shit, my nigga. He didn't have to do this. And last but not least, you know what I'm saying, back to the human trafficking thing. For me, he's done the most to combat human trafficking. I feel like that's the most important thing. All that other shit, small feats compared to that to me. He's keeping the children safe. He's saving the children. So with all that information compiled, right? Like I said, I'm not judging nobody. Maybe there's certain things you don't know. The mainstream media does a very good job at manipulating us and pitting us against each other. What I want people to do, and you don't have to do it if you even made it this far in this fucking video, I just want people to do your own research. Like, I plead with you to do your own research, because Fox is not going to give you the truth. CNN is not going to give you the truth. MSNBC, name it. Like, none of this shit is going to give you the truth, my nigga. The only truth you're going to find is if you do your own research. And go straight to the horse's mouth. Don't depend on these niggas that have, you know, agendas. It's all an agenda. Don't depend on them. They don't have your best interest at heart. You know? They don't. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? I'm not no celebrity. I don't have a big following by any means. You know what I'm saying? And I don't give a fuck about the celebrities that I've been fucking with Trump before any of these niggas came out. Lil Wayne, Ice Cube, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad that they thinking for themselves and they not, you know, conforming to some agenda. But the rest of these niggas, Charlemagne, DL Hughley, all these niggas, they got an agenda. They got an agenda, and they getting paid for that shit too. You know what I'm saying? So y'all could listen to them niggas if y'all want, or y'all could do your own research. You know what I'm saying? And find out the truth for yourself. Have discernment. Peace and blessings be to you all, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not coming out here to criticize nobody. Like I said, I just want to get the cold hard facts, and you make an educated guess for yourself. Leave your comments. If you have any comments, just keep it respectful, because these hands and feet still work, my nigga. So, you know, keep it all respectful. We can agree to disagree, and, you know, peace. It is what it is.
Talking about continuities.
Right. I do want to share this. This was a moment that I think, again, going back to what Candace has worked on and spoken about, and what Dr. West, I think you two could actually be happy about together. Happened at the White House, I think it was last month, and it was an event commemorating the First Step Act. Let's watch.
And I really thank you for signing that bill. Yeah. When you signed it, when y'all passed this, I could have fell through the floor.
I'm an example of a woman who has been given a second chance in life.
And it's an experience that I never forget.
2 months ago, I was in a prison cell, and I'm in the White House. Let's continue to make America great again.